We want to come back to the C and the G series, okay, and finish that off with what we were talking about last time, the 1, the 4, and the 5. So C, key of C, here's your C chord that you're probably pretty good with now. And then we had the G chord, right? And so that's the 5, C is the 1, G is the 5. And now let's learn the 4 in that series, which of course would be C, D, E, F, 4. Now the F chord is an interesting chord, and what you're really doing with the F chord is you're using this first finger and you're going to bar that first finger flat. Now this is really the first time that I'm telling you to take your finger and go flat against more than one string. Okay, so we're going to go against the E and the B string, the first two strings, with that finger and put them right across flat so that you can get the C. Notice open is B, C, and F. So we're going to get C and F, okay? And you want to practice getting that sound nice and clean, okay? Now when you do that bar, keep the finger as close to the fret as you can without going over it, right? You don't want to go over it, obviously, because you're going to start buzzing or get a different note, right? But you want to keep it close. If you come back early in the fret, it's going to sound kind of like that. So you want to bring it close to the fret to get that nice sound. Okay, now we're going to finish that off with the second and the third finger coming like up we did in the G and the C and the D when we put it all the way down the bottom. So now we're going to take the 2 and 3, and we're going to go G, C, and then we're going to come down one more set of strings. Okay, so G, C, F. Okay, so that's the 4th string. You're actually playing an F in that 3rd fret. Second finger on the 3rd string, which is actually playing the note A, okay? And you're going to do that. Now you're going to put those two things together. So you're going to go flat with the 2 and put those two together. And then try to use your fingers and your thumb, 1, 2, 3, and get them to all play. Okay? And you can see that as you work it, try to get them as clean as you can get them. This is tricky and actually kind of hurts in the finger a little bit because you're using that bar and you're using the 2 fingers. It's kind of a place where your fingers don't want to go. One's flat, the other one's coming on top. It's a little bit tricky. And if it sounds like this for the first couple of weeks, that's actually kind of normal, okay? The F chord is a tricky one to make sound nice, and it will take you a little bit of time to do that. So to help you out with that, let's throw in another chord, which is called the F major 7. Now the F major 7 alleviates this bar. You don't have to bar. All you have to do is use the 2 and the 3, and then put the 1 down like you would for a C chord. So now you're going from C to what they call F major 7, and you hear how pretty that chord is, that F major 7 chord. It's actually much easier to do than the full F. Okay, there's the F, here's the F major 7. Now there are some songs that you can do with that F major 7. In fact, hearing that sound is probably ringing some old tunes into your mind. Let me show you this additional little thing. When you do the C chord, if you take that 1 off, that's actually the C major 7. And I think we mentioned that earlier in an earlier lesson. So there's C major 7. Now when you take the C major 7 and the F major 7, again for C major 7 it's just the 2 and the 3. But then the F major 7, you bring this down one string, and then you put the 1 where the C is. So by incorporating a little strum here, we can go 2 or and or 3 or and or 4 or breaking this up into 16th notes, and I'll show you that on the screen. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and remember the Tin Man? Cause all of them they give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't know. Of course, we do eventually want to get the full F, right? So here's some songs that you can practice, and maybe we can even incorporate that little boom chick finger strum that we used in the last lesson. And again, for the boom chick strum, you're basically using the 3 fingers together, and they come and they click together on the top 3 strings, and then the thumb on the bass note above. So for a C, we're using the 5th string, okay? And it's actually playing a C bass, right? And then when we go to the F, we're going to do the same 3 finger, but now the thumb's going to come to the 4th string. Okay, so we're going to go C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, and then when we're going to come back to the G chord, which is the 5 in that series, right? And when we do the G chord, we'll put the thumb back on that 6th string. But the 3 fingers are always playing those 3 back and forth. We call that the boom chick, right? Boom chick, boom chick, boom chick. So we could do something like this. How many roads must a man walk down before he knows he's a man? Okay, Blowing in the Wind, classic. C, F, C, 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 F, G. Go back to F, G, C. We could put in an A minor there, right? That we learned real early on. And then back to F, and then to G, and then to C. All my bags are packed and ready to go, standing here outside the door. A minor, and then F, and then G. Okay? So a couple of songs you can play with there. The trickiest part here is going to be getting that F to flatten out for you. And by using those songs and by keeping that strum going, you'll eventually get the hang of it, and you'll be able to get that down. Again, use that 2 and 3 to guide you down. When you go from C to F, it almost starts to feel like a hinge. And that first finger is going on the C and then dropping down on the C, and then I'm going to show you that how it's C on the C, right? And then it's dropping down. So you're not moving it. You're just flattening it down. C, F, C, and then you can play with some of those songs that I've given you. And of course, there's millions of songs out there. So feel free to surf the internet and find that song that you're looking for to make your playing practice more fun. I'll see you next time.